leave it up to these cartoon creators, and they have us reading every time. They come up with different ones. We had long ago Frankenstein. Now we have FrankenWeenie, and the devil knows what he's doing with these cartoons. Because when these children are so obsessed with these cartoons, generally they tend to sort of be acculturated, as it were, into the realm of this character, and they imbibe the various idiosyncrasies. At first, they seem to be idiosyncrasies, then they become the way they live. Now, when I look at Michael Jackson and the Jackson Five and their dancing, etc., you could see Big Bird right in there. The way they're speaking up in the nose, and that's the new American way to speak. It is traced back to some of these cartoon shows. You had Pee Wee, and some of them were trying to speak like Pee Wee. And so with this cartoon guy here, he looks evil, and we see the guy that shoot up the Colorado theater in Aurora, and we want to know, well, how come these folks are doing these dumb stuff? Well, they're being acculturated by these shows, and you really think in terms of, oh, this is children's stories. They're like, they can't understand big people stuff, so let's have them with some little childish stuff and so forth. When they grow up to be monsters, and we want to kind of like, oh man, look at that. And they're not stopping. They have different ones, and they start off nice, and everybody, parents watch it for a little bit, and then the parents start to turn a blind eye and say, oh, that's a good one, I invented it. But as they go along the road, they morph and they come into some bizarre stuff. You had the guy with the chainsaw. It looked okay. And then, of course, people becoming mindless, and now the folks are, coming through, being baptized with Halloween and other forms of evil. They grow up to be evil, and then with these shows now, they just accept the persona and the things that they do on TV, and they make it a reality. So if you were to ask the producers of these cartoons and these other shows, are you American? What is it you're trying to achieve? Oh man, they have such a nice thought. That brings me to these these awards they give the Emmy and these various awards, and another thing to the movie critics. Now they're not serious about criticizing nothing, because these guys are paid millions of dollars to do these shows, and all they might do is like say, just don't see it, and they can't really castigate the film and punish it much, because they're gonna say, hey man, we spent all this money, what's wrong with you, man? We advertise you with your TVs too. So they're just trying to. I don't know what they'd really be saying at all, because in my mind, I think some of these shows you shouldn't see them at all, but they can't say that. And parents too are caught up in the same thing. Their children grow up, with the same thing, and although they've changed and they get a little more bizarre, they think it's cool. I grew up with that; it's no problem. In fact, once I was telling the guy about Sesame Street, I said this show is not good for the kids, man. It's making them into some idiots with these various animals they're adoring, and they're becoming like significant ones, others in their lives, and it's like their teacher. And just so you want to be like a teacher, so these folks want to be like these snake and this bird and all this foolishness. And you see, this big man went into the cage with the tigers in New York. The saying he's not crazy. Well, I guess that's the new normal. Crazy is the new normal. People like me who kind of like, trying to stay straight. I'm the crazy one. I'm the delusional one. I'm the mental ill one. And I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to go with the majority of folks, man. See everybody piercing up themselves, painting themselves, doing a whole bunch of tattoos over the body. Long ago, piercing was an evil thing. It used to be for people that come from countries where their religion is pagan and evil. And tattooing was for criminals, mindless folks, the nobodies in society. When I was in Oakland, California, I met this training dentist. She is at university doing dentistry. And she says she has some tattoo someplace and so on, And it's like, well, of course, on the other hand, I know that a lot of folks getting into high positions, they don't have no sense. And if it wasn't for some other reason that, we just need to have the school full and other things, many of them won't qualify. If we really, really get down to the stringency of the whole program, some of them won't qualify. And so we have mainstream evil folks, and they're saying that hey, look what I'm doing, and I'm still straight, but I have this good job here, and so on. Well, we got to be careful because this character here, he looks like he's crazy and he can do some stupid stuff. When the kids do stupid stuff, they want to know where they got it from. Well, this is the intention of the guys in Hollywood. And wherever they're making them, Satan is giving them an agenda. Make this, put this characteristic, put that in. I recall finally this woman who got me charged with domestic violence in Florida. She was on some mission. I think the government sent her, the FBI, whatever. And she was saying that she likes Stephen King. And there was some movie on the television where she had written the book to and so forth. And it's just for nothing. It's like making this human look stupid. If, he's being called on out to some loudspeaker, and he's like, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh boy. And then of course, sometimes you see some big mature people. It's the old. I see them looking stupid. And, if you talk to them, you'll find out that they're into these cartoons, even though they're old, and they're into stupid stuff, gaming, and so forth. And so they're changing themselves and becoming useless. And the people, we gotta figure this out and solve this problem.